Alright, now that we have all of our wood pieces attached to our upper arm, part number 4, and our forearm, part number 5, we can assemble these two pieces together. Now to do that, it's going to go together like this. Now for that to happen, I need to remove this pin, and we're going to have to drill a hole through our upper arm. So take the pin out, twist and pull, and we put them together like this. Now, by doing this, you might think, well, let's put them super tight together like that, and we'll drill the hole right there. Now, the only issue with that is that this needs to move. And if it's too tight, it's going to be really difficult for it to move around. So don't be afraid to kind of give it a little space. Now, it shouldn't be way out here, this much space, but like right about there, there should be a little space in between. Now, this is also the point where, if need be, we can go back and sand around this edge if we have to. We can sand inside here. It's a little difficult once everything's been glued on, so your best bet is to kind of glue or sand on this outside edge here if we have to do that. Now, what we need to have happen is from here to here, basically like if this was a straight line going from this pin to this pin. That's how high it needs to go. Okay, as far as going downward, like right about there is ideal. Okay, because eventually we're going to put a syringe up top here. So kind of get a feel of it. I'd say that looks pretty good. Then what you want to do is take a pen or a pencil. You can even use your old pin, and basically we want to mark right there. Now that is where we're going to drill our hole, which I'll show you how to do next. Okay, now you're ready to drill. So what you're going to do is you're going to take one of the cordless drills. Now you need to check to make sure that it is going in the right direction. If you hold the drill like this, if you're looking at it from the top, on the left hand side there's a little arrow that is pointing towards you, and on the right hand side there's an arrow pointing away from you, out towards the drill bit. Okay, in order to drill a hole, you need to make sure that this switch is pushed in with the arrow pointing towards the drill bit. That means it's going to turn to the right. It means you're going to be able to drill a hole. Now you're going to take your material. Now, I realize these tables are old, but same thing, we don't want to just drill into the table because you are not going to be able to stop fast enough. The other thing, don't hold it like this so you don't drill into your hand. Okay, I would have it off the side of the table, just like this, and make sure that the drill bit, or the drill, have it off to the side of the table like this. Make sure that the drill is going to be going straight up and down. Okay, we want to make sure that our drill, like I said, is going straight up and down, not on an angle like this, or not on an angle like this. Okay, we want to keep it as straight as we possibly can. Have it off the edge of the table, pull the trigger, and push real slow. Okay, go up and down once or twice, and it'll clear out the hole just like that. The whole thing is making sure that we keep our drill going up and down as straight as we can, not on an angle. Okay, make sure to keep it going up and down as straight as we possibly can. Okay, now that we have the hole drilled, we are ready to assemble. So basically line everything up, take our wooden dowel, and place it through. Now, you can see this doesn't want to go perfectly good. Like, it doesn't want to line up on the other side. Now, you might be thinking, oh, I'm going to re-drill the hole. Well, what I would do is just go back and sand some of where it's hitting. Like, it's pretty close. It was off a little bit, made it a little too tight. So it's not the end of the world. What I'll do is I will sand a little bit of this off. It should fit just fine. Okay, so I went back and sanded a little bit around this outside corner. I sanded a little bit on the belt sander. I also did it with a little bit with some sandpaper right in here. Let's see how it fits. Now the whole thing, because there isn't an exactly, you have to put this exactly here or this exactly here, you are going to have some fitment issues at times. And that actually fits pretty good. The full movement. If anything, I might have to go back and sand maybe this just a little bit more. But my upper range is good. Actually, my lower range is probably just fine as well. Okay? But that's kind of what we're looking at right here. That's kind of what you want to do. Now, it's better to have it almost too tight because you can go back and sand things than too loose, because then we got to re-drill holes. So, I would say that's perfect. Okay, there's one more thing we can assemble, which I'll show you next. Okay, now we're going to take the body of our robotic arm, part number 3, yes that is a 3, and we're going to attach it to our upper arm. And we're going to kind of do the same thing that we did here, except now it's going to go right here. So we want to take out the wooden dowel, same thing, twist and pull. And we'll do the same thing as before. Okay, we don't want to make it too tight, and as we can see, you know, those don't match up perfectly as it is. So we kind of kick it up a little bit. I can tell right away I want to go back. I'm going to sand this down some more right away. So let me do that. I'll be right back. So I've sanded down the body of my rocket a little bit, made it a little narrower. Now, same thing, I don't want to get crazy. It doesn't not necessarily need to completely fit inside the socket. That's okay if it doesn't, such as mine won't, and neither will yours. But I sanded it down a little bit, and we'll kind of do the same thing as we did before. Okay, as far as how far down does this need to go? Well, basically, if you kept it at like a 90 degree, like that was good enough. It does need to go about that far up. So, I'm probably going to kick it back just a little bit. What about there? So you get more height. It's better to have more height. As far as going down, yeah, right about there is fine. So, as you can see, there is a relatively larger gap right there, and that's okay. That's quite fine. Same thing as before. Mark it, and then we're going to drill it. Just like when we drilled our last piece, we've got our hole marked here. We use our drill. Same thing, don't drill into the table. Have what you're going to drill off to the side, so that you know you're not going to hit the table. Know what's underneath, so you're not going to hit anything. Pull the trigger, go nice and slow. Straight down, straight up. So we have our hole drilled. So now we have our hole drilled, and we can assemble. Line everything up. Take our wooden dowel, same thing, push and twist. And now we have an almost, I don't say almost, but a relatively complete robotic arm. Now, even in this current state, it should fit in your locker. Okay, if you fold everything up like this, it still will fit in your locker. Once we put the base on, it won't fit, and that's going to be one of the last things we do is put the base on. So here we are, kind of assembled. Now we're ready to start to put on the syringes.